In this video, we do a review of the campground at Mistletoe State Park in Appling, Georgia. Check it out. Hey guys, I'm Kevin with Kemp Outside, your inside source for all things outside. We have had a fantastic time at Mistletoe State Park in Appling, Georgia, right on Clarks Hill Lake. You can see the tent behind me. Pontoon fish is on the trailer, but we were able to beach it right behind our site. Awesome time. Let's get right into this campground review. Mistletoe State Park is located in Appling, Georgia, just west of Augusta on the south shore of Clarks Hill Lake, also known as Strom Thurmond Reservoir. It's easily accessed by Atlanta or Macon or Columbia, South Carolina. Here's a map of Mistletoe State Park, and as you can see, it's a nice-sized state park with a pretty large campground. Lots of hiking trails, but the main focus of this park, I think, is the access to the water. The red arrow indicates the location of the campground, which is right on Clarks Hill Lake, and offers lots of campsites with great views and access to the water. Let's take a look at the restrooms. There are 3 restroom facilities located in this campground with running water, hot showers, and flush toilets. Also have laundry facilities co-located, and they're indicated by the red arrow. Here's a look at Comfort Station number 1, which is the one we used the entire time we were camping here. Nice parking area, easy access. Here's a tour of Comfort Station number 1. So as you can see, as I walk in here, first thing you have is sinks and mirrors. This is the men's side, guys. I don't do the women's side, so ladies, you're on your own. But as you can see, a pretty nice area for sinks. And then as I pan over, this is, a pretty standard restroom facility for Georgia state parks. So, a urinal, and then a handicap stall, a standard stall, and then 2 shower stalls. So one of them is this one. This is kind of an extra wide door with a handicap shower stall with a bench, a hand wand, and then another shower stall right here, which is just the standard shower stall. And that is a look at the main restroom facility. Here's a look at the handicap restroom in Comfort Station number 1. Everything's in one room, so as you walk in, there's a little bench to sit on, there's a commode, sink and mirror, and then shower with wand, but it's a bummer that the shower bench has been ripped out of the wall. So that's a little bit of a bummer in this. I'm hoping they will get this fixed. And then we'll take a look at the laundry facility. So in here you'll see, a nice counter to fold and hang clothes, a sink, and then a washer and dryer that are coin operated. If you forgot to bring laundry detergent from home, you can buy it there. It's coin operated. And then the price for a washer dry is $1. And here's a look at Comfort Station number 2, which I think is the newest restroom facility in this campground. It was really nice, but I didn't shoot video of the inside. And then here is Comfort Station number 3, which is the oldest style of restroom, I think, in the Georgia State Park system. This campground has an amphitheater. The amphitheater isn't identified on the campground map, but it is indicated by the red arrow that I've placed on this graphic. So that's where the amphitheater is, and it's right on this little cove, which is really cool. So I've got Ellie and Tiller with me, so sorry if the camera's a little shaky. They pull on the leash sometimes when they get excited, but we're going to head down to this amphitheater, and as you can see, it's kind of like this little stadium style seating over mulch. So, really nice little area to do, scouting presentations, or, if you're camping with a group. One time I attended an amphitheater presentation for people that had old style campers, and they were all doing a meetup, and they were holding seminars on how to restore campers and stuff. So, whatever you can think of for your group, this amphitheater is probably available. Check out this really nice pavilion in the campground. Having access to a picnic pavilion if you're camping with a large group is great, and this one is located right behind Comfort Station number 1, indicated by the red arrow. This pavilion is large, it's got plenty of picnic tables, it's got a fire pit, all undercover, ceiling fans and lights. Really nice little pavilion. Let's take a look at the playground. The playground is located right next to the picnic pavilion indicated by the red arrow behind Comfort Station number 1. And if you've got small kids, a playground is a must. And this is a pretty nice one. So as you can see, you know, it's not huge, but it's got slides, it's got stuff for big kids, little kids, it's a mulch base, so if they fall down, they're not going to hurt themselves. Really nice little playground and a great view of the lake for the parents. Let's go take a look at the walk-in sites. The walk-in sites are located on the west end of the campground indicated by the red arrow. There is a parking space and then a hike into the sites. So we'll start with a look at the parking area. Got the Kemp bus parked there, and as you can see, there's plenty of parking for these walk-ins. We got Ellie and Tiller helping us go find the walk-in sites. So there's a nice little trail heading to the walk-in sites, and it's not a bad hike, but you certainly wouldn't want to lug a lot of stuff. But these are great if you're looking for a little more seclusion. After walking a bit, you'll come to a Y in the trail. If you go right, you'll hit sites 1 and 2. If you go left, you hit sites 3 and 4. This is site number 1. As you can see, it's a really nice little site with a picnic table and a nice fire pit. Looks to be a hook to hang a lantern. You know, just a really nice primitive site. Great view of the lake in the background. Really nice. Another thing that I noticed is there are some outhouses out here, guys. So you do have a restroom. And then this is site 2, which is probably my favorite site of the 4. And there was no one out here, so I let the dogs run for a little bit. But as you can see, a picnic table, a hook to hang a lantern, a stone fire pit. What an awesome view of the lake. This is definitely a nice campground. I would love to stay at this campsite. You'll have this point almost all to yourself. Really, really cool. I would love to actually just even beach my boat there and bring everything in by boat. The next site is site 3. We backtracked back to the Y and then went to the other direction. And I think this area of the campground was definitely affected by the hurricane that came through. So there's definitely some construction going on back here. I don't even know if these sites were open when I was here, but as you can see, there's a little stone fire pit, a picnic table. This site is kind of up on a ridge. Hook to hang a lantern, picnic table. This is my least favorite site of the 4. And this one is site 4. There was no sign to indicate, but I used the map. And as you can see, this one's also out on a point. A little fire pit. It does have a grow grate, a hook to hang a lantern, and a picnic table. No water or electric hookups out here, obviously. But this is out on a point. There's a little trail that goes down to the point there. Beautiful view of the water. That's a look at the walk-in sites. I'm going to add a new segment to my campground reviews, guys, where I do a walk around the campground and show you different things that I really like about the campground. They might be specific sites, they might be features, whatever. But I want to add that into my campground reviews to give you kind of a personalized look at the campground. We're still going to do our driving tour at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that, but check this out. So most of the campsites in this campground are on points that jut out into Clarks Hill Lake. And so this is a look at sites 36 through 41 that are out on this point. And in most of these sites, you can beach a boat right behind your campsite, which is really, really cool. You have to watch out for rocks because some sites have rocks, but for the most part, you can beach your boat, which is exactly what we did. Right next to site 41, which is where we're staying, is the kayak launch and the boat ramp. Let's go take a look. So here are the kayaks that are available for rent at Mistletoe. I'm not sure what it costs, but I'm sure you can get them at the check-in and get the price and get the paddles. Some of the campground sites are interior, so they don't have a water view. Some of them are pull through, some of them are back in. Some of them are quite large. This is a really nice campground. Here's a look at the campground boat ramp. There are other boat ramps in this state park, including a main boat ramp. This boat ramp was too shallow for pontoon fish, but is great for bass boats and john boats. If beaching your boat behind your site is your thing, you don't need to take up precious space with your boat trailer. They have ample boat trailer parking in this campground. Here's a cool little campground loop I really like. I've never stayed over here, but it looks cool. I'm gonna go check out some of these sites. So let's check out site 49 here. We'll just head in. This is a pull-through site. All right, so on a nice downgrade. And then all of these sites have water and electric hookup. They have a hook to hang a lantern, a stone picnic table that's too heavy to move on most sites, and a fire pit with grill grate. A lot of the sites also have charcoal grills, but not all of them. But let's go down to the water's edge here. So this is something to consider, right? Not all sites have beachable boat access, right? And so as you can see, that's a pretty good cliff down to the water's edge, right? So if you want to just do some bank fishing access over here, you know, you can definitely do that, but you're not going to beach your boat here. So just something to consider. It's still a pretty cool spot though, if you don't have a boat. If I didn't have a boat, I would love this site. In contrast, the site right next to it is site 50. Site 50 is a back-end site. It has water and electric hookup. It has a hook to hang a lantern, stone picnic table, fire pit. Looks like it has a grill grate in there and a charcoal grill. But it has this area down, when you take a step down, like a tent pad area. And then if I walk over here, you can see that you could beach a boat at this site. Small boat right there, and a little bit bigger of a boat over there. So that could be done, right? But, you know, it's a lot different. So that's a look at this site. Let's go check out some other stuff in the campground. This campground has some unique sites, but I don't think any is as unique as Site 57. It has this little parking area here, obviously not big enough for a trailer unless you've got like a little pop-up or something, but enough room to park 2 cars. And then this whole thing is fenced in. So you can work your way down in here. And you got your fire pit. You've got your hook. You've got a half picnic table. You've got water and electric hookup and a fenced in area to pitch a tent. Pretty unique site. Good for a small tent camper. And if you had dogs, you know, maybe you could keep them in here. So also unique is Site 58. 58 has 2 spots to park cars. And then it has this little camper cabin. I don't think anybody's here, so I'm gonna go check it out. Hopefully nobody's in there. The risks I take for you guys. A pretty cool little cabin. Walk down some stairs. And then if you walk over here, you've got your fire pit with grill grate. You've got a picnic table. And a hook to hang a lantern. And then if you go up the stairs on this porch here, you've got a couple of rocking chairs and a ceiling fan. And of course, the shades are drawn, so I can't peek in. But you have a look out at this little cove. Pretty cool. I wish I could take a peek. Well, guess what, guys? It wasn't locked. So I'm gonna just head in here. Looking for a light switch. Basically, it's got 2 beds on this side. A little shelf and some windows. Oh, there we go, light. 2 beds on this side. So it looks like you have to bring your own mattress and padding. Pretty cool little cabin. If you need a really big site, 64 is it. Humongous. Here's another cool spot. Sites 8 to 14 are down on this finger that juts into Clarks Hill Lake, and I really, really like it. There's a point that juts off the end there. Really, really cool. Let's go down there and check it out. So some of the sites are rather small, like site 10 here. As you can see, kind of have that railing up to protect the driveway, and then a step down. But I mean, you're right on the lake. Pretty fantastic view there. And then way off in the distance there, if you can see it, that's the boat ramp, the main boat ramp for the park, and that's what we use to launch pontoon fish. And then down here at the end is this cool little spit of land that just juts out, right? You can walk out on, fish from. You could fish right from that point. Nice little beach area there. Right? And then I really like this site, site 11. It's wide open. Right? It's not too deep, but it's double wide, so you should be able to park here no problem. Water and electric hookup. And then some trees, but then a beautiful view. Notice the rocks, guys. Can't beach your boat there. Right? Picnic table. Right? And look at all that riprap, all that rock, right? So you're not beaching your boat here. But you could beach it right across the way, or out on the spit a little bit if you wanted to. Or that beach right over there. Right, so you can see some boats beached behind the sites over there. Right, so lots of rock here, so no beaching. A really cool little point. Right, I like this a lot. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that little tour of Mistletoe State Park's campground given by me, Kevin with Kemp Outside, your inside source for all things outside. Let's go take that driving tour. All right, we'll start this driving tour by following the path with the red arrows. We're going to enter the campground and then hit the first sites, sites 1 through 14 about. So this is the main entrance road into the park and campground. We've already passed the visitor center and the check-in station. As you can see, this is a really nice pine forest. There's some great little hiking trails in this park too if the water's not your thing. We didn't spend any time hiking this trip. And you can see this big clear cut off to the right. I don't really know what they're planning to do. If you go to the left, that takes you to another section of the campground that we're going to cover towards the end. And if you notice, we are passing the dump station and dumpsters for trash. That's on the left. We'll drive through that so you can get a better view of it here in a little bit. And we're coming down into the campground. So on the left there is comfort station number 2 or restroom number 2. We're going to hang a right here. And the first site to the right there where that truck is, you can't quite see it, but that's a camp host site. That's site number 1. Site 2 off to the left. Site 3 off to the right. And then over here on the left are boat trailer parking, but if you see, they have power. So if you need to charge your batteries for your trolling motors or things like that, you can always put your boat on the trailer and take it over there and plug it in. Passing site 5 on the left. And these are pull-through sites on the left. And on the map, they're indicated with green as the campsites. And those campsites that are green have 50 amp hookups. All the other campsites have 30 amp. So passing site 7 to the right. And if you saw that little area that was framed in a wood square, that's gray water disposal. So now we're going to head down onto this little spit here. This is the one that I mentioned earlier in the video. And we're passing site 9. That's that pull-through site on the right, site 13 on the left. And that last site there on the right is site 10. And then we'll get turned around here and headed in the other direction. That's site 11 there. Alright, so we're going to continue on following the path with the red arrows. Heading into more of the campground. As we come out here, again, that's site 9 to the left. I think that's 13 to the right. And then we're going to hang a right here. Most of the roads in this campground are one way, so always be mindful of the flow of traffic. Watch out for bicyclists. That's site 15 to the right. And then site 17 is that pull through. Then on the left there, those are those pull through sites we drove past before. On the right there, that really big one is site 20. That's a 50 amp site. And then 19, 21, and 22 on the left here are tent camping sites. They're not suitable for RVs or travel trailers. As you can see, the parking lots are pretty tight. And then there's a step up to a tent pad. As you can see right there, that was site 22. We're going to head out of this section of the campground. We're going to hang a right and continue on around this one-way loop. So you can see that's comfort station number 1 up the hill there, and then the pavilion is right in front of us that I mentioned earlier in the video. And then off to the right is the amphitheater. There's the steps down to the amphitheater there. And then we'll head down into another section of the campground here. Again, all this is one way. So that's site 24 to the right. 25 where that big motor coach is. As you can see, these are mostly back ends. That's 28 to the left, that pull-through site. .27 to the right there. So great views of the water in this section of the campground. That was site 30 to the left. That was 32. And then 34. Straight in front of us are the kayaks and paddleboards that are available for rent. We're going to hang a right here. To the left there is site 41. That was our site. You can see pontoon fish on the trailer there. That was 36, that pull-through site. 40 on the left. 39 on the left. And I love this little point, right? So this is site 37 on the right and then 38 on the right. We stayed in 38, which is right in front of us there. That was an awesome site. And we'll turn around on this loop here and get pointed in the other direction. And then we're going to follow this path with the red arrows, continuing on through the campground. This will take us all the way on through this section of the campground all the way to the dump station. Okay, so as we head out of the loop, that's site 36 to the left, site 40 to the right, and then 41 again to the right, where our site is. Across from us, I think that's site 35 to the left. Then we'll go on past all of these sites. That's site 43 to the left there, I think, a really long one, and 44. There's the boat ramp for the campground. It was too shallow for pontoon fish, but great for bass boats and john boats. Yep, there's site 44 to the left there. As we come up the hill, we'll be facing Comfort Station number 1 and the picnic pavilion. So we're going to hang a right here on this one-way loop. You can see the extra boat trailer parking. This is where we parked the trailer for pontoon fish. So lots of boat trailer parking in this campground, which is really nice. There's Comfort Station number 1. There's the playground to the left there, as you can see. We're going to dive in here. This is sites 46 and 47, which are back-end sites that are off to the right. They give you a great little elevated view of Clarks Hill Lake. So that's 46, and then there's 47 right there. And then that big pull-through site off to the left there, that is site 54, and that is a campground host site. And then we're going to head down into here. This is sites 48 to 53. And I mentioned this little area in the video before. So off to the left there's a pull-through site, that's 53. And then we should be passing 48, which is that back-end site. 49 is right in front of us. That's a pull-through site. Off to the left there is more gray water disposal. That's 49. That's site 50. And then that pull-through site there is 51. And that little back-end site right in front of us is 52 on the right there. On the left is where you pull out from the pull-through site 53. Then we're going to head back to the loop. This is the driveway for Comfort Station number 1. And then we're going to hang a right here. And that'll take us into the next section of the campground. Now, off to the left there is sites 55 and 56, which are back-end sites, but you kind of go up that little hill to get in there. And then off to the right there, that's site 51, which I gave you, 57, I'm sorry, that I gave you a tour of. And then right in front of us there is that little camper cabin, that's site 58. And I noticed I got a raindrop on the windshield here, or not the windshield, but the camera lens. So for the magic of YouTube, we remove that. And then move on up to the left there is site 62, which is a pull-through site. Then we've got site 59. Then that pull-through site is site 60. And then that back-end site is site 61. And then up here are some enormous pull-through sites if you need them. They're all 30 amp hookup, this 63, 64, 65, and 66. But as you can see, they are quite large. So if you have a big rig and you want to pull through, this might be the section for you. Not a lot of lake view though, so keep that in mind. Another gray water disposal. And then we're heading back to this main loop road, which will take us down to the dump station. So this part of the road is 2-lane, and then we're going to turn right into the dump station. So here is the first dump station, and then a second one so they can service 2 RVs or campers at once, and then dumpsters for trash. Alright, we got to get rid of another water drop, so now's a great time to update the map. So we're going to follow the path with the red arrows and hit the rest of the campground. The rest of this campground is probably a campground addition. I'm not sure when they added it, but there are a lot of 50 amp hookups over on this part of the campground. So we're going to head down the main road. If we continued straight, that would take us to the exit of the park or the main boat ramps or the cabins or the check-in station. Instead, we're going to hang a right here and head into this other section of the campground. One of the days I was driving through here, I saw a family of deer cross the road, which was pretty fun. And sorry about the water drops on the camera. I shot this kind of on a rainy day. It was on a day when I couldn't be out on pontoon fish fishing, so it was a great opportunity to film. As you can see, there's a dumpster right here, and then this goes into a 1-lane loop. So passing site 67. And then 68 will be off to the left there. That's a back end site, I think. It might even be a pull through. I can't tell. And then on the right is 69, which is a pull through. Yeah, I think 68 was a pull through. And then site 70 on the left there. And 72. That's site 71. And then down the hill there, 73 is a pull through. '74 off to the left there in front of the comfort station, and then 75 on the right. There's comfort station number 3. And site 76. And 77. '78 down there is a back end site. I come around the loop on this point. I like 79 here where that bus is pulled in, because you really kind of have a lot of space to yourself there. That's really nice. You're pretty high up off the water on these sites, just to be aware. That back end site there is site 80. 81 off to the left, that's a little, they say it's a tent site. That should be 82. 83. Off to the left there's site 84. And then we're going to continue on with 85. Access to the comfort station. Where that boat is, I think that's site 86. We've got site 87 and 88 off to the left there. Off to the right is the walk-in sites parking, which we covered earlier in the video. And then we have 89, 91 is that pull-through site off to the left. And then we've got like 92, or 90, 92, and 93 off to the right here. And that's all the campsites. So as we drive out of this loop, we join back up with a 2-lane road. There's the dumpster. And we're heading out of the campground now. This will take us back to the main road. If you get to the intersection and you need to use the dump station, you turn to the left. If you want to exit the campground, you turn to the right. And that is a driving tour of the campground at Mistletoe State Park. Guys, if you haven't camped here, you definitely need to come and make some reservations and enjoy this amazing state park. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that review video of the campground at Mistletoe State Park in Applin, Georgia. What an awesome place to come and camp and explore and boat and fish. Clarks Hill Lake is amazing. It's beautiful. Sites right on the water. Awesome, awesome. What more could you possibly want in a campground? Maybe mountains. Mountains would be nice. But hey, I can't get everything I want. So guys, I'm Kevin with Camp Outside, your inside source for all things outside. We exist to help moms and dads take their kids camping, hiking, fishing, learn about nature, and develop a conservation ethic. There's no better place to do that than right here at Mistletoe State Park. If you have any questions about the campground or camping in general or staying at Mistletoe or fishing Clarks Hill Lake, drop some in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Or you can connect with us on our other social media. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and X, or our website at campoutside.com. Guys, 5 years ago, right here at this park is where I decided to launch Camp Outside. So it's really cool to come back and celebrate my 5-year anniversary by hanging out at this park. We've got a lot more coming, so if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and ring that little bell that notifies you when we release new videos, because we have a lot more coming. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.